Next week, Tableau is going to share their vision of what the future of Tableau looks like. Last week, I had a chat with Ravi as part of our podcast to talk about this, narrative in the community at the moment that Tableau is on the way down. It's dying. It's on, it's getting overtaken by Power BI. Lots of different sort of sentiments, all culminating in the same sort of thing. And in order to have that discussion, we actually broke it down into various topics. Just looking at my list here, it's price. Is Tableau too expensive versus Power BI? The core features. What should those be? Should Tableau be building new things, or should they be doubling down on giving us the things we've been asking for years? Innovation. Where is it? Where is it heading? Like, what are Tableau going to add to the product to make it relevant? And then we also talked about the fourth wave, this new thing we're going to see next week. We kind of broke down the key concepts there. And then the very last thing is we talked about the job market. A lot of people are worried about their skills. And, they're wondering, should they still be investing time and energy into Tableau? All very valid questions. We didn't want to just put them into one big bucket and talk about them in one go. So we dealt with them, each of them individually, and looked at each of them on their own merit. And we gave our opinion on what those sort of outcomes are. Broadly speaking, at least I'd like to say I'm still quite optimistic. And I think Ravi shared the same sentiment on lots of things. The whole industry is still working out quite a lot about what's coming next, especially in the analytics space. My next video will be with someone who knows a ton about one of the products that's going to be challenging in this space that you might have seen at Tableau conference. I'll keep that a secret until the video is out later this week. But nonetheless, we covered it all. And then at the very end, we kind of announced something which I think is going to be pretty exciting. A way to make sure that as Tableau pushes forward, we're actually looking back and reflecting on what they have delivered, what they said they'd deliver, and where they're heading. Okay, so there's a lot to cover in this one. So go ahead and catch this in your favorite podcast player of choice. It's also on YouTube as ever. And yeah, let's get started. Ravi, what is this? We're back, and I haven't even edited the last episode before we record this. we are going in with a 2-episode buffer. What's going on?
I think it was that hook. It's the hook you put in right at the end of the last one.
Right.
It's just like percolated.
Right.
That would have been better at diary planning.
Well, actually, I'd argue we haven't been better at diary planning because there should have been like an episode out by now. And yeah, but anyway,
that's a workforce issue rather than a
true.
Like, and this is me digging on Tim because he does all the work, and I just turn up and chat.
I have not yet figured out how to use AI to replace my entire job. Although I will say, Descript, sensational editing tool. A year ago, I very much trounced on Descript, said it was a bad tool. I am sat here 2 months into actually figuring out how Descript works, and I'm debating and moving my entire workflow to there because their AI tools are unbelievable for editing. If you edit podcasts or edit videos, you need to create social clips. I'm just going to say it now. This tool is sensational. Check it out. It's really reasonably priced. Just check it out.
Is it kind of like when you move from? Do you have Paint Shop Pro?
Oh yeah.
Or Paint Shop Pro, or like, I mean, even just Paint, and you get Photoshop for the first time. You're like,
yeah,
I am not sure what I'm doing with this tool because
Yeah,
you can do so much with Photoshop, right?
Every
This
industry
learning
has
curve
that.
is so steep.
Yeah, if you work in print design, it's the difference from moving between Quark Express and InDesign. You go to InDesign, and suddenly all your Photoshop assets are like, whoa. In web browsing, it's like going from Netscape to Internet Explorer. Yes, that was actually a good direction.
Internet Explorer to Firefox, Firefox to Chrome,
Chrome to Arc, like all those transitions, all the same. So yeah, it's very much that. But anyway, before we get too carried away with
everyone
catching
should be
up
using
and
Arc by now. Yeah.
Arc. I mean, I've been using Arc for a year and a half. I haven't used Chrome in the last 3 months.
Do you count Brave as? Do you count Brave as Chrome?
No.
Okay. Like
I haven't used Brave. So I only had Chrome on my Windows laptop, and the Arc for Windows came out properly 3 months ago, and that's basically the last time I used Chrome properly. The other browser I have used is Edge because that's on work laptops for Microsoft, right? So you can't really control those. But yeah, I haven't used Chrome. So maybe Edge is the secret Chrome bastion in my life. But anyway, today the topic, Ravi, is quite a sincere one. If you've seen the thumbnail of this episode, you'll know that we're basically talking about Tableau, obviously, but whether or not Tableau is dying, right? That's a very radical statement, and I never like
clickbait.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, is Tableau dying? I don't know what other sort of what the word thumbnail clickbait worthy things are, but what I will do is, because I'm going to edit this with AI tools. Once I've edited it, I'll ask it to suggest some titles, and we'll find out what it thinks this episode should be. And you'll get that in the thumbnail. I'll actually go with what the AI tool suggests for the thumbnail and the title. So we'll go with that. Okay.
There we go.
Find that soon. But yes, no, on a serious note, we wanted to talk about Tableau. I've been approached on a couple of platforms about, what is Tableau dying? YouTube comments are the ones where I constantly get people asking, hey, is this a skill worth having? Should I be learning it? We've seen a lot of, kickback with 24.2 coming out, and, there being a couple of bugs and people sort of suddenly talking about the quality of the product and sort of where that's been. There's Salesforce fourth wave that's made people think, whoa, like, where's this product going? Where's the core experience going? we had the price topic come up multiple times now, as more and more companies are potentially doing that transition from Tableau to Power BI, mostly driven by cost. And there's some interesting sort of arguments that come out of that as well.
It's all about the TCO.
Yeah, that song. It's not so funny anymore, is it? It's not working. But nonetheless, if we combine all of this together, I think it is fair to say there is a general mood, there's a sentiment that Tableau is losing market share. And what I wanted to do is talk about that. And we're not coming at this from a comparison to any one tool. We're going to purely evaluate Tableau for its own merit on each of the points that typically kind of come up. So we've done a list, Ravi, and we'll go through this in more detail shortly. But price.
No tangents today.
Yeah. Innovation, core capability, Salesforce influence, and the job market and skills. And then at the end of it, we've got a little surprise for everyone about something we're going to be doing to try and add data to the narrative, because I think that's also something that's missing, and Gartner is not providing it. We'll come on to that later. So there's the agenda. This could be a long one, Ravi. Where shall we start? Price.
Price. What we say we would. Like, price. I mean, this is interesting, right? Like, again, to be the history teacher in the room, Tableau had a previous pricing model where you could buy perpetual licenses, or what do they call it? You could buy the one and done, and then pay for maintenance on a yearly cost to get the latest updates. They then had a core subscription and a perpetual subscription for the Tableau server, where you could pay price per core, or I think it was per user, was it previously?
Yeah. User-based pricing.
User-based pricing. And then everything changed. You had a new data for data, if you remember that slogan.
Oh, yeah.
Where everything moved to the subscription-based model.
Yeah.
So all in one. Again, you're not then put off to say, let's take customers on this journey from desktop to then sharing with your colleagues on the server, and then you grow and expand. And the land expand disappeared to say, actually, let's just have one fixed cost, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Kill core pricing. You should be limited by your hardware, etc. And that's how it's been, right? Like you get billed for a 12-month cycle per month. So actually you have a total number you get quoted, rather than say, it's $11 a month. Well, actually it's 11 times $12 a month, dollars total for the year. And that's what the pricing's been. And, you always have the stepchild in the middle of the Explorer license, which people are like, does anyone buy it? Does anyone use it? Is it useful? You end up with a top-heavy section of viewers and a small subset of creators, because that's the most expensive. But yeah, that's where we're at right now, Tim.
It's an interesting one, because the critique that often comes up with Tableau, and I'll say this from the perspective of how I see it, which is Tableau users are very happy with the value they're getting from Tableau. That's always almost the statement that's let people lead with, and then immediately after, there's the ask to bring the price down to meet a product that they also agree is subpar compared to the experience they have, right? So this is a comment. Like I'll try and find some comments and I'll put them on screen. And this kind of half breaks my brain sometimes, but then I also understand where it's coming from, because people would just like the discussion to end. They just want to be able to go back to their CFO, the purchaser, the executive sponsor, say, actually, it's the same price now and it's better. So can we just keep it? That is really what people are like drawing a straight line to. But then in my head, like, and I don't respond this way because obviously I'm conscious that, like, you know, people are just making arguments that make sense to them. In my head, the analogy I draw is you have two cars. I told you this analogy before, Ravi. So you have two cars. One is a Vauxhall Corsa. Maybe I'll choose a slightly different car that's more well-known worldwide. One is a Porsche 911 and another one is a BMW 3 Series. Okay. Both really good cars. You wouldn't argue if you got any one of those two. Now, your use case is you need a car, a daily driver, to do two things. Go to the supermarket and do daily nursery runs, okay? You've only got one child, so don't worry about the fact that your Porsche only has 2 seats. It's fine. Now, on that basis, it turns out the BMW and the Porsche will do the supermarket run in exactly the same time. The BMW and Porsche will do shopping runs with pretty much the same luggage space and the same amount of comfort and whatever. The BMW and Porsche will also do other sort of everyday tasks fairly well. And therefore, your CFO, your executive sponsor, just looks at them and go, well, I'll just go with the BMW. It's cheaper. It does the same job. And yeah, it has the same outcome. But any motorhead who knows anything about cars will tell you that the experience between those two cars is vastly different. And if you try to argue that you could bring the price of a Porsche down to BMW, that would be a crime. It would be heinous. People would understand. Anyone who knows anything about those two cars would understand immediately. That makes zero sense. And that's sort of the comparison I sometimes feel like people are giving Tableau versus Power BI. You recognize the value, you recognize the premium experience, but you don't think that Tableau a business or Salesforce a business should be charging a premium for that recognized value. And I find that hard to rationalize. If the debate was about how to achieve that premium price, then I think we could have a different discussion. For example, should small companies be paying that really premium price, or should the premium price be really applied to companies who are using it at scale, right? Like, are there more intelligent ways of pricing it so that the ramp isn't just so steep and linear and it's more gradual or whatever? There's all those things are different things, but those are never the arguments people make. Typically, the arguments are just make it cheaper. So
make the viewer
I really
free.
struggle with that, right? I mean, for goodness sakes, Tableau did just make Tableau public. The ability to save
Tableau
flat
public
files and save your workbook without needing Tableau public. You can literally go and build a use case using nothing but Excel and CSV files for free. I mean, they went there. They just went there and did it, and you get all of Tableau desktop capabilities with that. Granted, you don't get prep. Granted, you don't get some of the other nice stuff. You don't get the connectors, all the nice stuff. You don't get the fancy charts. You don't get the fancy all that stuff. Like, okay, other Power BI does give you some of those, but nonetheless, they brought it one step closer. And I just then never know how to pass that discussion, because if you recognize that Tableau is a better product, then I don't know how those two line up. But if you think Power BI is a better product and Tableau is too highly priced, I'm here for that discussion. I'm here to understand why that is. I'm here for that. I think those are the more interesting debates, in my opinion. People who've used Tableau have gone to Power BI and ended up thinking this is better. I want to talk to those people, and if they exist, please, I'm sure they do. Please, I'd love to talk to you on this podcast to sort of talk more about that experience, because it's likely that there are use cases where that is absolutely the case.
There's different analysis flows, right? And I think that's what Power BI could be supporting on, right? Like, if you're able and you're adept and you can do things at speed within that tool, absolutely. Like, again, drive that BMW 3 Series, and if you don't need the luxury appearance, maybe that's the thing, but it really depends. It's horses for courses at the end of the day. but
And then,
you are paying for a slightly, as you said, it's the experience you're paying for.
and the very last thing before we sort of talk too long about prices, the other thing is that the price reflects the platform, and too many people narrow the price down to Tableau Desktop. Right? You look at the Explorer price, and you're saying I'm paying $75 per month for desktop. It's like, no, $75 a month gets you Tableau Desktop, gets you Tableau Prep. So many Power BI content creators get this wrong. It like burns me. I actually started replying to some of their comments saying, actually, that's not right. Tableau Desktop comes with a creator, desktop, and access to an online instance if you so request it, just that your admin doesn't know that that's probably the case, and a bunch of other capabilities. And yes, there is an additional price for add-ons and all that metadata goodness. I don't know why that exists. In fact, there's even a new
and how many they
pricing
sell.
thing.
That
Exactly.
has a pricing issue.
Yeah, Tableau Plus. I've made a video about Tableau Plus. We don't need to double down on that one, but nonetheless, yeah, there are different pricing things that actually do need discussion. It's not the one that people come to about Tableau Desktop and whatever.
No,
so,
sure.
Is Tableau dying? Is it about price? Yes, there are probably reasons why Power BI is cheaper. Yes, there are probably economies of scale that Microsoft get by putting Power BI in the ecosystem. But at the same time, Tableau do realize additional value. And so I don't think it's as clean cut as just about price. Pricing tactics, I'm here for all of that. But yeah, it's complicated. Definitely something to watch, especially with the fourth wave, which we'll come to later on. All right.
Cool.
Can we close that discussion, or have we left something on the table?
I don't think so. I think it's clear. Like it's I think it's clear. Let's move on. Core capability.
Good. Core capability. What the product was to the core, as they like to say at a Tableau conference. Ravi, what are your thoughts on this? I led the previous one, so I'll give you the floor.
Yeah. So what was Tableau? I think the good place to start is almost like what Tableau, where to Tableau. Again, history man Ravi a bit.
Yeah.
You can talk about RenderMan and the Stanford guys coming up with an idea to almost disrupt
Solaris,
as it was called.
Yeah.
Fast forwarding all the stories of, well, actually, by the end of the 2000s, it was this really hot product. That's like, wait, I'm able to analyze business data really slickly and easily. Gets reskinned, grows. You then get the second iteration of it, which is this holistic view, again, a new data for data around the experience from Creator Explorer Viewer. But really, what is the mission of helping people see and understand data almost grew, right? So it's seeing and understand data, great. Then it was really focused on seeing and understanding data. So if you think about TC 12, 13, 14 with Christian Chabot on stage giving those stories that just held you for the full hour, for the full 40 minutes that he was talking about why they do what they do and what their real core values are. That was the seeing and understanding. We really understand that we need to move this forward. Then they did it, right? It did move forward. It then created all these conversations about, well, is it just the market leader right now? From there, it then expanded. Then you have the growth pains of being a fairly large company in a big field. Having to then step in, as in, if you want continual growth, doubling year on year of your staff, then you need to start to innovate and make sure you fall in line a little bit, to make sure you tick a few boxes. Make sure you're getting in that Gartner conversation.
Please, the security buffs, bringing the enterprise features.
All the enterprise features, making sure that you've got a cloud product.
Yeah. Build out sales team, sales org.
Get
acquired.
And then you get acquired. Exactly. Then you get acquired and then you become part of a big machine where your feature development is saved because you're no longer thinking as a product manager or a developer, hey, actually, we have a bad sales 2 quarters in a row. This project isn't going anywhere because it's going to take us a full 12 months to even get off the ground. We're going to lose our budget and I'm going to lose resource to even fund this. We're going to stop doing it. But really now you've got a big behemoth behind you. Great. That means some of these incubator projects you can actually dig into, things like the next iteration of Tableau. What is the future of analytics? Really investing in, the cutting edge technology. And you might say AI is that, but you've also got augmented reality. You've also got the ability for speech to text and speech analysis. So, the core capabilities changed, I think, with the times. Like when it started, cubes were still a thing, and now we're in 2024 and cubes are coming back.
Oh,
and they're faster than ever.
They got fancy names. Metric.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that what's really exciting for me is the fact it has grown and evolved over time as the world has changed. I don't think analysis is what it was in the 2000s or the 2010s. I think even when I first started my career in 2015, like analysis isn't the same anymore. Like the questions have just gotten better, and that is thanks to tools like Tableau, thanks to tools like Power BI, thanks to data being at the heart of so many conversations we have.
Yeah.
But in reality, has the analyst community that then are fans of products such as Tableau, such as Power BI, have they kept up with what analysis is? Taking that step back and thinking, what's the Simpsons quote from Principal Skinner? Am I so out of touch? No, it's the kids who are wrong.
You touched on something there about retro, because in my head I was like, a phrase I heard, I can't even remember where, but I heard a phrase that the spreadsheets are coming, and by that I'm talking about like the tools that have just almost given up trying to. Maybe it's an unfair statement, given up. It feels like we started in a world where people realized how spreadsheets weren't enabling people. We went to visual analysis.
In the late 2000s.
Yeah, we went to visual analysis so you could, dare I quote it, see and understand our data, right? And we've ended back in the world where spreadsheets are king again. And I'm like, it does boggle my brain, because I'm looking at these products, and don't get me wrong, I know why they're successful, because people just won't let go of their spreadsheets. And they're saying, right, if people won't let go of the spreadsheets, how can we use spreadsheets as an interface to the analytics product? So Hex, Sigma, Google Sheets, Monday.com, Notion, for goodness sakes. All of these companies are instantiations of a spreadsheet in some way or form to serve a specific vertical or need or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And it's super interesting. Going back to the beginning. Meanwhile, going back to your point about what is the core product, what should the core of an analytics product should be, that definition has changed. And I do feel like it's swung away from building data visualizations. It's swung away from building reports, and it's swung towards not necessarily building, but synthesizing like synthesizing
knowledge curating. I talk about this so much. Right? Like,
yes.
It's knowledge curation. It's my old like thing.
It's your little thing.
Like, yeah. Like a knowledge curator is someone that, like, I think an analyst used to be someone who reports, a describer, right?
Right.
Person who's describing what's happening. Right. Then you've got someone who's trying to predict and like prescribe what happens.
Yeah.
I think all of those things will just slowly disappear. Absolutely, they'll have their place for a long time.
Yeah.
But I think the people who then will push this forward will be people who are able to be the librarians of data, start to cherry pick different parts of insight and say, actually, this together will this is the melting pot we need right now to solve this problem.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I mean by synthesizing, right?
Yeah. And is a critical point. That creative element that Tableau pushed so far into, unfortunately, that's no longer valued by the industry. People don't really care about, being able to fit. No, but it's not, because if you look at the features and you look at the things that people beat Tableau with, no one beats Tableau on visualization. But the best way I can put this to you is in UX and in product design, there is this statement called stated beliefs and revealed preferences. Yeah. Right? Stated belief is Visualization is incredibly powerful. I want to be able to customize my charts to the nth degree. Yeah. I forgot my own statement. Stated beliefs and what was the
Reveal
second?
benefits.
Reveal beliefs. Reveal belief. I just need to build this quickly. Can you just build it for me? Can I just type it in the keyboard and have it done? Right? Like you can be in both of those opinions, but products have realized the second element, right? So for a long time, everyone was building to the stated beliefs. And now here we are in the everyday work. You've talked about dashboards being dead. We're now in the era of revealed, beliefs.
So I still maintain that like the world of dashboards is dying.
Right.
And to an extent, it won't die among like hobbyists. It won't die among people that use them. It won't die among the people that want to do it. Like it's not your job is disappearing. However, data visualization designers as the hot job of the most sexy job of 2017, 18, 19, that is slowly disappearing because Tableau is fantastic still at visual discovery. It's fantastic at iterative analysis. It allows you to fail fast, right? Yeah. There isn't anything on the product in the world that comes close. It doesn't touch it because it's so easy to pick up and play.
Yeah.
What it's bad at is that learning curve to get you to being a really nice, effective dashboard design. I'm thinking
fair.
If Yvette Kovacs, I'm thinking Judith Becker, I'm thinking Sam
I just
Parsons.
had her on. Yeah, we're talking about this exact thing. Yeah,
but
she was talking about Google Looker and fighting with it. Yeah,
and I think what you end up is it's now just we're in this process of decoupling. You're good at this, go do that. You're good at this, go do that. UX designers, go build me a platform. Web designers, go do that thing. Data people, go translate this for me and wrangle it, and then help me synthesize something together. And that's really what a really good analyst is becoming. Is the person who's actually saying, I see this business problem, I see this analytical question. I'm now going to help to bring this all together, mobilize the right people, and help them build the product. Yeah. I'm no longer the person that has to do that, which is so liberating. And the people that then hold on to the core capabilities of what Tableau used to be, which is quick iterative dashboard design that you can customize to the nth degree. TC 2018, 2017 maybe, 17, 18, maybe even 16, you had the person who said you can finally do pixel perfect dashboarding. It was the text header where you could bring in images, something like that. I don't know if you remember it on Devs on Stage.
Yeah.
And I remember speaking to you, and you said to me, but no, you shouldn't want to do pixel perfect design. And I remember being like, what are you on about? Of course you want to do pixel perfect design. Today I'm like, no, you shouldn't want to do pixel perfect design in Tableau.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
It is not the tool you should be trying to do pixel perfect design in. It is the tool that you should be trying to enable people to ask and answer questions.
It's not
the moment. Yeah. And all they get, and this is why dashboards are losing to AI generated answers. Yes, you might have to check them, but it's a lot easier to check with an AI tool than it is to check with a data engineer being like, does this number look all right? Yeah. Is my data being doubled here?
To sort of really drive the point home, Tableau Pulse. How quickly can one developer build? I did the calculation on one chart that I had. It had 4 filters. Each filter had like a certain number of options, and I came to some silly number like there were 2,500 possible line charts that could have come out of this 4 filters, depending on what the user chose. How long would it take one developer to build all of those? Like literally way too long. And Tableau Pulse does it in literally a second, and it gives people the interface to go and do that themselves, right?
And this is it. Like I've been lucky enough to be in meetings where you've basically been like, right, screw this presentation, let me just fire up Tableau and I'm going to build in front of you as you're talking. And it's magical, and you're able to like.
But that doesn't scale. Yeah.
It is great if you can, and you get comments like, oh, it's just so great when you have someone who just knows the product building in front of you. It's why IronViz has such a strong appeal, right?
So I think what
But
we're
it's not
saying
what
is
its core is anymore.
the core. Well, I was getting to this. What we're saying is the core product has to change to keep up with the industry. Not
And the users
necessarily.
have to, and the old users have to change with it. They have to really
No.
understand this.
And this is, I'm not sure I fully agree with that. You remember my old ramblings about how, like, Tableau should just let Tableau Public be what it needs to be. Let Tableau Public become that finesse design, artistic visualization tool,
Yeah.
and let Tableau Desktop become the serious desktop, whatever.
Yeah.
And if you want to go down that, experience of curated design, you go down that route. You've made it free anyway. So just let people do the stuff in there, right? And for the business stuff that needs to scale, that needs to be connected to a data source, that needs to be able to programmatically generate stuff, that needs to be able to control pulse and all these wonderful new things. You keep that in desktop.
Tableau
And
Workbench.
you splinter. Yeah, exactly. You splinter the experience. Maybe this is what the sixth wave is. The best of. I've heard someone describe it as the best of CRM analytics. And I was like, what? And the best of Tableau Desktop. I was like, there was no part of CRM analytics that made me excited. So when you say the best of CRM analytics mixed with the best of Tableau, like, yeah, that's going to be an interesting transition. But anyway, the core product needs to change. That's very clear. As much as I think in our hearts, we still want to tinker and finesse. And let's be honest, this is our legacy as old users, right? Like, for the new analysts being brought up today, they don't have a clue. They just need to get their job done. They're not trying to be a visionary. They're not trying to be an ambassador. They're not trying to be a Tableau public visit of the day. That is like a creative endeavor that just stumbled into, and they found a community and they loved it and they got involved.
Belonging.
And let them be that, and let Tableau public be that thing. You keep building on that. You have the competitions. You have devs on stage. You let that just be there. But the enterprise element, the stuff that is becoming more and more important, that needs to take on a new world.
Yeah. Well, the last thing I wanted to say on this was actually that on the most recent conference, Ryan Atave, most recent CEO, did this thing, like elevating the folks doing the recognition program is fantastic, and then doing the flip to say whose first conference is this, and it's over half the room, or maybe it is about half the room.
Yeah, that was
and
a
I
message.
think it's a reminder for everyone who is in the first 10 rows of conferences, I like to say, that the user base is changing already. Like,
it has.
While the product is changing or requires some level of change and is adjusting and developing, and it might not be that thing it used to be, the user base is changing, and those users might be actually very happy with the product experience they're getting. As the product changes, the people change. The thing that you may change with it is the way that you learn Tableau and the way that you're exposed to 100%. Tableau.
Yeah.
And what you're using it for, where it fits in your workflow. And that comes from analysis has just changed. And new people within the analysis world need this tool to do something different than it did 5 years ago. Like 2019 was 5 years ago. And even in that short time frame, you've got a lot of things happening.
And I think data analysts are being asked to do more, data modeling, DBT, data science. And so if you think about the world around Tableau, that's having to encompass more things. And the current only interface for that is Tableau Desktop. And I think maybe the argument is that is such a high hurdle when all people want to do is connect that data science model to something. Yeah, exactly. So maybe then decoupling. It's funny how this phrase was used like 2 years ago, and I've just found myself reusing it, and almost coming back to convince myself, almost preaching to myself that it's actually a very necessary thing. But anyway, we digress. I could go on and on about core capability. It brings us nicely to innovation. What is happening today, right? And it's super interesting. We're just 24.2 just came out. We just had
I can upgrade my server. I can't wait.
Yeah, your only release of server this year, for the record. But anyway,
which is fine because I only want to upgrade once a year.
Yeah,
it's great
exactly.
as a server admin.
Mate, I get complaints on my channel going, "Where is the upgrade for server this year?" And I was like, "Do you really want to update every 6 months, every 4 months, even? No, probably not."
Downtime, user trying to find the right anyway.
But 24.2 has come out. 24.2 has come out. Huge features. We've had a big release. Unfortunately, it's got some bugs. But on reflection, the feature list has improved. Yes, there are more features in Tableau Prep. Yes, there are more features spread across Tableau Pulse. Yes, there are more features in the browser across AI. But those features are getting used. Now, I can't say to you, what's the percentage of adoption across all the features that Tableau rolls out? Because that is the critical number, right? If they're rolling out features and across the percentage of people who've upgraded, there is good uptake in those features, then you can argue they're doing well, right? Because we might not like it as a core user, but actually if someone using it and getting value from it, well, they're listening.
Who are we basically to argue?
Yeah, exactly. Like just because, mapping didn't get an update this year doesn't mean, they've stopped caring about mapping. It just wasn't on the table this year. So,
and also I'm still getting my head around map layers. Like,
man, I think they're still mostly used to create like layouts that shouldn't be possible. Yeah.
I had a thought this week. I was talking to, this is a digression, sorry, a practitioner, and I literally thought someone would probably do this with map layers and some maths.
Yeah,
I don't want to build and maintain at scale, so I'm not going to do that.
Don't do that, please. If that ever happens to me, I'll just remove everything. Pull out like floating containers just for kicks and recreate it all.
You're a sick man. Don't know me,
I hate floating containers. So if I'm suggesting that, it's bad. But anyway,
but tell you who will have feature telemetry. Tableau, right? They will know what lands.
Yeah,
they're Tableau Public, absolutely. But they also have now Tableau Cloud, where people may or may not be building web authoring.
I would love to. Can I challenge that perception? They have telemetry, but is this one of those things where too much data is also a bad thing because you don't know where to look, right? If you have so much telemetry, but you don't understand the product well enough, how do you sift through the telemetry? A good example is F1. They collect millions of data points per minute, right? But the biggest thing they talk about in F1 is correlation. Does the data correlate with what we're actually seeing on track? So I'd say there might be that issue with Tableau. Yes, they've got tons of telemetry, and yes, the product managers are having tons of features. But is there correlation?
I mean, in football, it's the same in football. You recapture data at every 25th of a second, right? And it's 11 players the ball in the referee. 22 players the ball in the referee for every 25th of a second. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure, absolutely. But the themes you capture from that level of data are still accurate, right? Like, if someone wanted to say, I don't need to know what, how, but I just want to know as a proportion of things that are in a Tableau workbook, what is the rate of uptake in set actions from a baseline of 0 to set actions being used in a dashboard? So is there a set action, yes or no, binary?
But
in a sheet.
That I think is the problem, because what are you doing with the set actions? Are you building? Matter. I think it does.
No. Because on the first level, it does not matter what you do with that information. What matters is the second level. Okay, cool. Now I know we're being used. How are they being used? Let me go find the people that are using them the most to understand. And that's where like specific targeted user research studies are really important here, right?
But if you take that approach, isn't that how you then start to celebrate that set actions solve filtering problems, when actually you should just go build the user interface for better filters, right?
But you don't know that until it's done. Until someone breaks your feature trying to do your thing. Like, remember your hacks in Tableau that I shouldn't have to do video?
Yeah.
Right? Like, the amount of uptake you got across the community and then also across internally at Tableau for that. Yeah.
It gets referenced all the time, but no one watches it, as a matter of fact. It's so funny.
I've watched it twice.
Exactly.
And once with someone else to prove that. Like, I think when it was one of the hacks, it'd been like, I haven't got it on me. I can't build it now, but let me just go get Tim's video and scrub to that piece.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Yeah.
it's those hacks and like the fact that after set actions, parameter actions solved what you wanted set actions to solve.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Therefore, no one uses set actions for the things they used to anymore because parameter actions is a lot more of an elegant thing. And that's probably because of, people write blogs. No one writes a blog anymore. You don't see people writing blogs about hacks in Tableau. Everyone's doing video content now because you get paid for it.
I wish. Ravi's hot take. So innovation. Is Tableau dying? Yes or no?
As above, right? I don't think it's dying. It's just evolving, and like we're in the chrysalis stage.
Interesting.
Of something where it's people are either going to hate it or love the next generation.
To be confirmed.
Yeah, I think so, because it's I feel like you're almost you're re-gearing a product that was created to serve one purpose, and then you're looking at the world and being like, I'm not sure the world needs this thing to do what it's doing. It probably does in a lot of places, but the world that will be in the next 3, 5, 10 years doesn't need this anymore.
Yeah.
And the way, and if we're not careful, if we look around and we pop over our heads at our friends at Alteryx, if we don't evolve the core piece of this product, the BizQL engine, the data engine, the way that it's engineered,
got to get rid of them. They were designed for a world that's no longer the case. Yeah,
you've got to evolve that. So, for example, if you're decoupling, as you say, what that allows for is, for example, a multi-language model to start understanding and saying, if the question is related to this, go get this from this area. If the question is related to this, go get this from this area. Yeah. And this is how we bring everything together and synthesize in the back with AI. So Tableau becomes akin to Jarvis in the flow of analysis is now controlled by you, but you don't need to be a specific product expert, but it's allowing you to think as you go along.
Surfing the rivers of flow in Tableau.
In that fourth wave of analytics, there we go.
You knew it. You knew I was lining you up for a segue, and you took it and you ran with it. I love it.
You hit it. Well done.
So that does bring us nicely to the fourth wave, and I kind of call this Salesforce influence. So let's do this in
these segues have been great, by the way. Amazing. Genuinely not rehearsed, right?
Salesforce influence, good or bad? Short response. Size are not included.
Huh? Yeah.
We're 3 years into the purchase. Just over 3 years, actually.
I still hold my exceedingly positive outlook on everything in life, which is probably not bad if it's not failed, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not really gone tits up. So, and that's an incredibly British way of looking at it, right? Like, it's all right.
Other than too many animals and,
but even
safari
even
themes.
the animals have been chucked into a zoo in the corner at the Tableau conference. You don't see a single shrub anywhere.
Hey, it's ain't coming from me. It's not coming from me. It's all good. It's all good.
But my feeling is it's been a net positive and it's getting better. We're getting there.
Yeah,
I think this is what I shared with a fellow Tableau community member after the keynote. I was like,
I look at the uptick in features. I look at the roadmap and I see more on the table than ever before. I see a new product. Might not like it, but Tableau Pulse is there. Tableau keeping up with AI. We see the innovation. We see the features, and the thing that people get frustrated is those aren't the things they wanted. But that doesn't take away from the fact that those are still coming. I talk to product managers. I think on the outside, if you look at the uptick in certain capabilities, there's definitely a lot of potentially restructure and re-emphasis going on, right?
And lots of listening.
Yeah, lots of listening. I think lots of listening because the next step, the fourth wave, which you're about to come to, needs to land correctly. And so that is sort of one of the big open elements. And I think earlier on you talked about, the jury's out a little bit on whether the Salesforce thing has been a success or not. We are now about to find out, I think, how that lands, right? And how the fourth wave is essentially Salesforce's vision of how innovation looks like for Tableau and going really bold, hell for leather. If that makes sense, right? I don't know.
Completely.
The big concern I see with the fourth wave is I still think the core Tableau customer is wedded to the core experience we have today. And if you're going to innovate and build a new innovation, I can't believe I'm saying this, I don't think you can depend on the community as it is right now. Because
for fair feedback?
To teach the new product.
So here's my punch in the face to Tableau. But is it the community's responsibility?
No, it's not.
Is it the community's responsibility?
It's not, but that's all Tableau knows. That is the thing that Salesforce talk about when they acquired Tableau, the community. That is what Trailblazer and Bing, all that jazz is. There is that sort of communal effort. And yes, I see a big uptick in the Trailblazer platform on Tableau content. It's very much sort of the legacy Tableau, right? I'd be interested to see if they can land the fourth wave with a whole bunch of Trailblazer content at the same time to teach people. Because if they do that, then yes, I think they're speaking to your point. They're taking ownership of that education piece. If they're relying on people like me and other people, blogs, other people to make content and do all that, that's a big ask, because what you're saying to those people is, yeah, you know, this thing you've been teaching for years and being recognized for, yeah, we're resetting all of that. We'd love you to help us teach this new thing. And it's a bit like, hey, bring my cars back. If you've been driving a Porsche all your life, if you've been driving a BMW all your life and you suddenly get in a Porsche, it's still going to feel wrong, even though it's a better car, right?
Manual to automatic is probably the actual swap, right?
No, because I do think the fourth wave is a different experience compared to the core product.
So is driving a manual versus an automatic?
But manual versus automatic, you're suggesting you could stay in the same car, same sort of same. It's just taking one step. The best way to I think automatic would be like, I don't know, we've re-enhanced the whole data modeling capability, i.e. brought AI to multi-factor analysis and all that stuff. For me, this is like, it doesn't matter what's under the guts. It's just a completely different car, right? Like just completely different way. Yeah. Those core components come together to give you like contact with rubber on the road, and like
optimistic Ravi
is different.
Optimistic Ravi is really excited, and cynic Ravi is ready to sit on the sidelines with popcorn, watching things unravel.
Popcorn, right? Come on, Ravi, you got to get involved. Got to get in there.
Oh yeah, but I think I'm already involved with so many of these conversations, and it's. Yeah. I think the exciting
we're
thing
too far
for
in
me
it.
is
We're too far in it. Yeah,
exactly.
This is what I've come
to.
It's
not for us. It's not for us.
I realize that, like, at least with my YouTube channel, and you've maybe noticed I've started doing more sort of content talking to other people, is that I don't think going into the new wave that my voice can talk about that experience in an authentic way, because it took me the best part of a decade, well, most of the way through a decade, to get to the point where I could talk about like the things I talk about with experience. If I'm learning something new than just flipping it back, I've literally become the thing I hate, which is like an influencer, right? Like I'm just flipping knowledge.
Into GPT.
Yeah, I'm just flipping knowledge. I'm not actually sharing anything. Like the minute the fourth wave comes out, I am on the same level playing field as every analyst, and I haven't got the benefit of experience to be able to share something of value. Like the way we do tutorials, the way you write blogs, all of that comes from a lived experience of using the product for some time, and finding the way to articulate that takes time. So, I mean, I'm just talking from a personal perspective. I'm not sure that's the case for everyone. Some people relish that opportunity. I know people will go ahead and learn the thing inside out, ask the questions, and then boom, come out with content within a week. I'm not sure I can do that. I think that's going to be really tough.
I think it's one thing that I've constantly encouraged Tableau to do. And one of the reasons, like, you know, being part of recognition programs, I almost like reevaluate my worth to them as an ambassador, as a person who's a part of that. Because like I'm just adding, and I'm being a contrarian sometimes, but I'm adding to the voice and the direction and giving you affirmation when you really should speak to the dudes and dudettes, the folks in the companies who are actually using the product and are brand new, and you almost follow their journeys. Like, imagine if what if at TC they gave a golden ticket away to 5 random people who was either first or second TC, and they'd said on the user survey they'd used Tableau for less than a year, less than 18 months, and you said to them, I'm going to give you $25 each time you talk to me. But what I want to do in the next year is check in with you and really spend time just chatting to you. What have you done this month? Record 5 sessions of what you're doing. We're both under a mutual NDA. Let's talk through what you're doing with this product. And let me give you a product and let me educate you and do it. Like, it's that level of deep user research, I think, is required at this stage, especially when you're about to reimagine what the future of analytics for your product looks like. Now, look, I don't think what we're either of us saying is the core product line isn't going to change, but I think my feeling is there will be a significant rhythm shift in the way we will start to analyze our data, start to interact with our data. And first of all, that starts with acknowledging that we're all going to start from a baseline of 0 and won't have all the answers.
Yep.
And a lot of us won't be inspired to do anything about it.
Yeah. I mean, we all have phases, right? I think the term legacy will become used. There'll be a legacy Tableau experience, and there'll be the new Tableau experience. That will be the dividing line. Web authoring is where that line is drawn, in my opinion. It is currently where that line is being drawn with Einstein Copilot. There is very much a come to the browser vibe in all of that, and it will at some point come in the future. I don't believe Tableau when they say that. I just don't. If you were building it to come to desktop, you'd have built it from desktop from ground one. It's you know what I mean?
And that shift has been there for a long time.
I know. But what I don't believe in is just come and say you're never going to build it for desktop. You know what I mean?
We've all got our big boy pants now on, and now Tableau can say to us.
It's not even that. If it's not there on day one to the desktop customer, why are you talking to them about it? Right? Now, Einstein Copilot was at conference, big feature. I think if I did a straw poll of everyone in that room, they thought what they saw was Tableau desktop. In all honesty, right? I don't think anyone clocked that they were in web authoring during that demo.
Come on now.
Do you think?
I'm in that room. I was in that room. That's one person.
As one person, okay. If I went to those 80% of people who it's their first conference and I asked them, what are you seeing on screen there? Is it Tableau desktop? 90% of them would have said yes.
For sure.
But what is that blue thing at the top? You know? I haven't seen that in my version of the product. That's something new. I was like, no, it's in the browser. Oh, what does that mean? Oh, everything in Tableau in the browser? Yeah. Oh, great. Has it got all the features? Not quite. You know?
Is my organization going to move? Not quite. Because Tableau Bridge still
at least with that, web authoring is not one of those things where you're locked behind a price, right? You can kind of go
Copilot you are.
Yes, correct. Yeah, Einstein Copilot, absolutely. Yeah. So you want to
as phrased in Malcolm in the Middle, the future is now, old man. It's happening. It's coming for you.
Yeah, it's very appropriate for me. I'm an old man indeed. So let's close this off then. Salesforce, is Tableau dying? Yes or no?
No, Tableau's evolving.
TBC.
I don't think it's dying. I don't think we'll know if it's dead until it's evolved.
Right.
And the stock price starts to tank.
This time next year, very interesting. We'll have seen the fourth wave. We'll have had a conference, and we'll
We'll have
know.
had a conference. We'll have had a
And we'll
Dreamforce
know. Yeah,
and a TC.
yeah. We'll be going to another
And
Dreamforce.
and a DataFam Europe. We'll have a local TCs that
We'll
you
have
can
had
attend.
enough opportunity for them to essentially workshop the hell out of this. But I'll make this call now. The fourth wave will have not been released. If you're only showing it at Dreamforce and we've not got our hands on it now, and there are only 3 releases a year, Ravi, it's not in 24.3. So then, if you're going to be as bold to say it's not in 25.1,
you launch it at conference.
If you're launching a conference, it's not in 25.1 then.
No, correct.
So then in 25.2, which just literally happened 2 weeks ago, this time next year, like that's that is like a bold.
Yeah, but 24.2 was late. 24.2 was late-ish. You can argue.
It's not late.
Well, three a year.
It was on time, given the new schedule. Because remember, this is the first year they had the proper spacing to do 3 spread out, rather than. But oh wait, we're gonna wait. Is it December yet? Yeah, it's December. Okay, out now, right? Like this is the first time we've had. Okay, February. Wait. Boom, 2014. So I think 2014 came out when it was supposed to.
Fine. What I will say, just to close out this point, is if you're watching this or listening to this and thinking, hey, that innovation and Tableau stuff, the Salesforce instance, the core capability stuff, but the product I am now using is half-baked, not ready. Yeah. It's live without being properly tested, and we're in this Elon Musk, ship it and then fix it.
Ship it and fix it later.
Yeah, like I say go join the betas.
It's a bold statement. Go try the product.
Go join the pre-release cycle, and I'm sure and I know for a fact that your feedback will be treasured, appreciated, and valued. And I think that's the place to go.
I think people did know this in the beta, but they were expecting it to be fixed. It's just one of those things where I don't think they can tell you when they're going to fix it.
Depends on the feature, right?
It's an evolving problem.
Yeah.
Like we're literally on the bleeding edge of the capability. Like they're shipping it right hot out of the oven, and they came across something that just is physics. Like it's just going to take longer to fix it than the time they had. But do you not feature? Well, if you don't ship this feature, then there's features in the next release you can't talk about, and everything starts to slip, and then it gets into the way of the fourth wave. I genuinely think they're rushing to get things out before the fourth wave because these are core components of the fourth wave.
I think again, sorry, actually closing this out.
Final thoughts.
Yeah, V1 actual final draft. I remember being grumpy old man Ravi, who like when a new release came out, and people were like, "Oh, I'm really excited about this." It's like they announced it at a conference a year ago. It's been in beta for about 4 months now, and you're now excited by it and thinking, "Oh, yeah, this is going to change everything." Come on! And now I'm like, well, everyone should find features at their own pace, and the product should be ready at that point. However, if you feel strongly about giving feedback, I know there's a place for you in that beta testing pre-release hub.
Yeah, and there's a better place than the social feed where it kind of just dies in the ether, and you get the
old man shouts at cloud.
How do you constructively turn that into sort of positive change? And I think if you've got the opportunity, definitely take that route. Right, final
Monster
topic
pod.
before we talk about. Well, we're not done. There's one more. Job market. This is brief. This isn't brief. Job market is a difficult one. I think it's hard to evaluate because I'm a consultant. You're a professional. Neither of us are really battling for jobs in this market. And I think who this really speaks to is the young analyst who's breaking into the data field and is picking a tool. It's very common as an analyst to pick a tool to which you use to break into the industry with, and you ride that wave. For many people, that was Tableau. It's given them long and healthy careers. Those people have then gone and said to more people, Tableau is a great tool to do this with. We've seen the people come through, IronViz, MakeOverMind, all of those things have culminated in this big critical mass of people picking Tableau up as a tool to break into the industry. But there is an ecosystem of jobs. There's an ecosystem of technologies that now suggest the industry is moving away from Tableau. Although I don't think that's sort of really fair assessment. And so people are saying, "Oh, should I bother learning this?" I think there's a short and long answer, which is don't use job data as the barometer for which skills to learn. There's a YouTuber called Luke Barousse, and I'll go and find his analysis that he did now a year ago. But he did an analysis on analytics and data tools, and he scraped, I think, thousands and thousands of jobs off LinkedIn over the course of a year. And what transpired is that Tableau was right up there with Power BI, like just scraping jobs on LinkedIn. Tableau was right up there. Whether there's a bias is the market you're in. Potentially, if you're in certain international markets, there are more developers being requested for Power BI than Tableau in certain markets. If you're in maybe more Western market, there are more skills being required for, let's say, data engineering or data modeling capabilities.
Data engineering. I think data engineering is the biggest dry spot within the world right now, isn't it? As everyone moves towards true automation.
Yeah. And then the very final thing about this is that there's also an imbalance in just because there are jobs available in this industry, it doesn't actually reflect what's actually going on with the tool. So you got to be very careful that you just don't draw a line with there are not many Tableau jobs, therefore Tableau sucks, therefore it's not something to go and learn. Because as I keep saying, Tableau is a platform. And most Tableau jobs are looking for Tableau developers, but you can work in the Tableau ecosystem without ever being a Tableau developer. You could go and run Tableau server infrastructure. You could go and run Tableau cloud administration. You don't need to know anything about desktop or visualization in order to do that. You could go and learn data modeling, go pick up Kirk Monroe's book, get really good at Tableau prep and Tableau desktop, start modeling data sets, go become a bit of a data engineer, go understand where houses work, turn up to an organization and become the in-house data modeling expert for Tableau solutions. Like, you can be a developer, web developer, and go build embedded solution. You could be Tristan and Merlin and build products on top of Tableau using nothing but web development skills that you've picked up from years and years of fumbling around or ChatGPT or anything like that. I'm not saying they have. It's just more general. Like, there is a path to being intimate with Tableau that isn't just Tableau desktop. And so if we talk about that, if we talk about what are those opportunities like, they are not called Tableau developer. They're not called data analyst. They're not called the things that you're typically searching for as a data analyst. They're called many other things: project manager, infrastructure manager, governance, stakeholder. All of these terms relate to ecosystems, product design, UX designer. We have people in the field, right? All of these things, all related to Tableau, not with Tableau in the title. So I'll try and find Luke Barousse's visualization. I'll put it on screen and then I'll link to it as well, so you can go check it out. But his analysis is really, really good, and I think he refreshes it over and over again, and you get a more real sense for jobs linked to Tableau. But just bear in mind what I've said, which is just because there's no Tableau in the title doesn't mean it isn't for Tableau.
Yeah, I mean I think McKinsey were the ones who, they had a data visualization lab led by Jason Forrest.
Yeah.
And that the entire team got let go in earlier on this year. Yeah. And I think it speaks to, like, well, do you need a center of excellence per se in a world that's innovating quickly and the questions are changing, the people are getting smarter, and you're almost creating this. If you really truly want to self-serve, you don't really want a center of excellence.
Yeah.
What you want is people that can educate other people within the organization, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's super interesting. Like, even myself, just from like a skills perspective, one of the things I'm constantly asking myself is, like, where do I take my career now? Right? Like, I'm a consultant. I can't be a consultant forever. Like, where where does someone with my skill set go? And I know hundreds of people be like, oh, crying wolf, Tim, come on, you've got a YouTube channel, you're visionary, all this other stuff. I was like, yes, but it doesn't mean that's where I want to go. Like, it's very easy to just from the outside look and assume, oh, these skills equals this career. It's like, that's not how careers work at all. And in my experience, you typically tend to find people with the best careers stumbled into their career because they didn't realize they were going to have so much fun. But anyway,
so what
very
are we going to
final
do
thing.
about this?
Yes, exactly. We were both really disappointed with the Gartner report, and this is more of a segue than it is like a dig at Gartner. But while we're here, the Gartner report was crap. I think I can say that without getting sued by Gartner. What I can do is show you their chart because they have like, you know, impeccable ability to shoot that down, even though every data visualization partner in the report shares it for free. I just don't get that. Like, anyway, the really interesting thing about Gartner is two dynamics. Number one, every company in it pays to be in it in a way. And it's sort of interestingly told that for, I don't know, however long I've known about this report, every year Tableau will say leader in this. It's almost like a marketing talking point. When you go to the report and actually look at the detail that exists about the product, it's very little, very little. And I know this is just because this is the summary. This is not the underlying data and the underlying stories they have. Their analysts have that. And if you get in touch with Gartner, you pay them good money. That's the real goldmine stuff that they start telling you, they start giving you, I hope. If not, tell me. If you've actually, in fact, if you've ever bought and paid for Gartner data, please, dear God, come into my DMs. Let's chat. I've got all the time in the world. Let's chat about that because I'd be really intrigued to see what you get for that value. But the problem it does is it leaves you in a bit of an odd place as a user of the product, because I think these things are designed for buyers, purchasers, people who aren't so finely tuned into each and every product. And so you read them and they leave you feeling like they don't understand how you use the product and they don't understand what people really want from the product. So in an effort to kind of change this, we're going to do something I think pretty interesting for the first time. We're going to do something called the Tableau Scorecard. And this is an attempt to build a data point that we can now track over multiple years to allow us to understand the areas in which Tableau can improve the product, the places where customers would like Tableau to focus on, and track that in relation to the things that Tableau actually do. Because, of course, customers don't always say everything they want, but sometimes it is incumbent on the developer of a product to build things people haven't asked for, because that actually answers a broader set of questions. Classic example we always have is Apple and iPhone, whatever. No one was asking for a phone with no buttons, but everyone was asking for a phone with more buttons. So what did BlackBerry do? Gave us like a full QWERTY keyboard. What did the Apple do? They got rid of it, and everyone was like, "This is what we want,"
LODs, right? In Tableau, a level of detail calculation solved a problem that everyone else was having, but they didn't know a level of detail calcs was the thing that was going to solve it.
Exactly. And so the format for the scorecard, I have no clue. But as we record this, we haven't even got the website. We haven't even set up the form. But by the time you hear this, that will have been set up. And what we'll do is we'll probably do a separate video just announcing just where you can go to find out about what this will be and how you can get involved.
Yeah.
It's going to be annual, so it's not going to happen anytime just yet, but we'll start sort of setting ourselves up to hopefully do it starting next year and start to build that narrative. Exactly. And what we want to do is have this year run through so we can actually do the first reflection on how has 24 been. So 24, 1, 2, and 3. Take the whole year's release as like a context. Do that at the beginning of January, so that when we go into the next year's release, you've got the whole of next year to see how Tableau responds to each of those questions. And we can then start to use this as a sort of a talking point and a data point. So there's a couple of ways we're going to do it. I'm borrowing this idea from something called the Apple Scorecard, which is a scorecard done by a podcaster I listen to, Jason Snell and Dan Morris, Dan Moran even do this on the Six Colors website, and they do a pretty good job of this. If you want a flavor of what that looks like, go check it out. And I think it's a super interesting format. It's unofficial, it's not endorsed or supported by anyone. We're not going to be doing sponsorships, but we think we can just add some sort of new context. And I think with our perspective on Tableau, it's going to be a really good way of monitoring the fourth wave and coming to this discussion with perspectives that are broader than our own and actually have richer context from real life use cases and businesses that are tackling the way these tools work.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's really exciting is it's making sure that all the voices that we're talking about and like that I've just hammered on earlier, we can find some people that can help ask and answer those questions.
Exactly.
And we're not almost getting too sucked into people
the
like
hype
us,
fest.
like me and people like me and you, right? Like who've just lived and learned the product and have such a vested interest in it.
We
find
need someone who only
just
uses web authoring as an example, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we'll find them. And if you are that person and you're watching this, let us know. We'll find just a mechanism. A survey, something like that on the website to just try and build a pool of people we can reach out to as a sample set.
And I'll call this out now. This won't work if people are shy. We are asking you to help us do this. Let me be clear about that. We do need to build what I think is a good body of experiences to be able to call upon multiple years at a time. And if you end up halfway through that transition going to another product, we can add that narrative, that perspective into this context. If you come from another product into Tableau and you'd like to be part of it, we can add that narrative to this context. So we can really build a bigger picture of what's happening at both ends of the spectrum. People coming to Tableau, people leaving Tableau, and everything in between.
Yeah. Absolutely. Good. Exciting times.
Big one. I think it's going to be fun. Good. Right. We'll call it there. It's been a long one. My clock says an hour and 25. I think 20 minutes of that was pre-chat, so we'll see. Maybe we kept strictly to the time. For everyone's context, we started recording the episode right the minute we start the call. We're going to keep these and hopefully edit them into something at the end of the year. There's lots of wonderful chat in these for everyone. If you want to lobby me for an uncut edition where we don't edit anything, then I'll send you one of those. But you'll have to have some sort of donation
various
to charity.
Interruptions, the
bottles of water, the coughs, the calls about McDonald's, all of that involved. Good. All right.
Super.
We'll chat soon, Ravi.
Take care. See you later.
See ya. Good. All right.
Fucking hell.
That was good. Long one, wasn't it? Yeah. Deep.
I
feel like we got it all off our chest.
100%.
Righty.
It's good.
I will hit stop.
I need to start writing again. 2